hope that's a big thing.
I can't tell you. Trade secrets.
You can't tell me.
Trade secrets.
How dare you?
I tell you. Not yet. Not yet.
No? And? Oh. Girl, if, girl, I ain't even gonna speak on it.
You
Okay?
talking about the Packers?
Yes.
If they lose, nah, they good. They should be good. They running the clock up now. They
Let me
running
tell you
it
something. If they, girl, they would be. I would be literally like I would just own the Packers if they lose this game.
up.
Y'all got 9 minutes. If they can catch up to y'all in 9 minutes and cause y'all to lose, I'm done with y'all.
You can't be done with the Packers.
I will be done with the Packers.
Not the Packers.
This is a whole blowout. Look at this score.
It's a whole blowout.
That's a whole blowout. So if y'all let them catch up, y'all suck. Sorry.
The Packers making plays.
They are.
Getting to the business.
Proud of them.
And I'm glad you told us how you feel because we've been recording.
I kind of figured that.
Good. You caught it this time?
I didn't catch it. But I kind of figured because you started the music. So I kind of figured it was already recorded.
My boy Royalty.
Royalty.
Check them out on iTunes. This one is called Impulses. Royalty.mcf. Man, we got some good stuff to talk about on Classic Talks Fridays.
Really good stuff.
With Quinn.
Really good information.
It is some good information. I've been excited to talk about this stuff here. Did a lot of researching and conversating about goals this week, and yeah, really the only question I kept asking people was like, why are goals such a big deal?
Right.
Like, what's the point? What about them?
Right. That's a good question.
Do you make goals?
I do.
You do. You make a lot of goals.
I don't make a lot of goals. But I do make goals. I don't want to overwhelm or put too much on my plate. So I do set realistic goals that I know I can put the time into those goals and check them off.
We're about to get into all our content. Realistic goals, checking off goals. We spoke a little bit. We spoke a little bit about time, right? That we don't exchange money for time, and the fact that we really exchange value. Like we exchange money for value, but we use the time to create something valuable. So the time is used on whatever that creative niche is. And I think for this conversation, we want to look at your goals being the steps you take to define the value that you're creating with that time, right? We want to look at goals like our commitments. Like I'm a commit to myself. Like I want to commit to things that lead to service. I mean, lead to that bag, lead to our purpose. What goals are we putting in place to attack some of that stuff? Like what's really happening? So I guess if I think about it too, and when we think of like what we're working on here with Next Play Mentality, we really want to make goals that commitments that we can really make plays with. Like we get into that winning mentality. Like the whole point is to win. Yes. So, and you know what's killing me? Let me tell you what's killing my soul. This retainer, this aligner. I'm gonna get rid of him. So y'all, I can make some sense out of this. This is some good talking right here.
Right.
So really what I'm trying to say is the commitments that we keep to ourselves, that creates a winning mentality, right? That is that next play mentality. That's that keep making moves, keep playing, even if you got to get out the mud. Like I, I'm hopeful that people understand that it really just doesn't drop in your lap.
It does not.
You know what I'm saying? Like there is some work to be done. Like even people that we are aspiring to be like, or we are inspired by them. Like one of the things we're inspired by is like the hustle.
Exactly.
Like they're able to really get it out the mud and continue to make plays when it's time to make plays. When you hear no, think next type of mentality. So
yes.
I'm with it. And one thing I've been really conscious about with my goals is like they have to reflect your beliefs. Your behaviors are based off of your beliefs. So when you make goals, you have to be realistic that you believe that they're one attainable. So not super simple, not something that you can do in your sleep, but an attainable goal that your beliefs will get you to the place where you're behaving in a way that you can meet them. You can sacrifice some things.
Yeah.
And when I think sacrifice, and this is a tough conversation for a lot of people, everything can't go with you. Everything don't make the cut.
Everything does not make the cut. There's going to be some things you have to let go during this process. And you have to be okay with that.
And it really is like us being realistic about the fact that things that we're going to sacrifice, things that we are going to leave behind, the things can be people.
Yeah.
They can be environments. They can be our vices, our characteristics. They can be that procrastinating mindset. Like you can't keep adding things onto your capacity. You have to switch things around so that you can meet goals within the capacity that you have. So you just can't keep adding things on. Like some of these things have to be moved out of your way.
Exactly.
And you are going to disappoint. There are going to be some people that you disappoint, and if it's in the cause of the mission, because the mission is the mission, the goal is the goal, disappoint. If you're working on something, you're working on something, and there are going to be people that mirror your energy. They're going to pump life into you. They're going to support you. They are going to be there for you when you get to figuring out what you need to sacrifice, and those people won't be it, but they're going to be some things that we got to leave behind. Yes. Also, too, one thing, and we have this like understanding about there's a different kind of understanding that you take into accomplishing goals, right? Like understanding that the work or the process is not always going to be your favorite thing. True. Like we talked about it. Like I love talking through this message. I love talking to people on a daily basis. I love, I love coaching. I love getting into really good talks where people can apply action right away. Like we can empower each other and then we go out and we try some stuff, right? But I hate marketing. I do. Like I hate always posting. Like before having a business, social media wasn't something that I had to live and die like I didn't have to. If I was on it, I was on it. If I wasn't, I was on it.
Yeah.
I don't love marketing, but I gotta market. Like the only way to get this message to people is to say like, hey, the message exists. There are good things to talk about. There's good conversation to have and place to be made. So I had to fall in love with the process of marketing. Like I gotta find some fun in it. Like I gotta figure out things that I want to put up that's cool. I love music. How can I combine the two? I love meditation. How can I meditate about this stuff and give myself a new picture of how to do some things? Like goals are inside of that work and that process, and it's going to require some effort, and it's going to require you to do things you don't like to do but love it. Start to love to do it. Nice. Get up every day with a mindset that you're going to tackle what you can tackle in that day. Like accomplish goals and reflect on the growth that you make. What I've learned that eventually that you get to a place where you have to be mindful of the process, fall in love with the process, and then only then can you really appreciate the outcome. Yes. That's when it gets into a place where it's, I worked for this. I did something for this. I can remember, sacrificing sleep for this. I can remember sacrificing partying for this. I can remember having to stop with friends and figuring out for this. So it's just one of those things where if we can get into a place where we reflect and we grow and really love the process, I think we'd be in a really good place. Yeah. And goals should serve as like your playbook. When we think about making plays, they give you the direction. Like goals should really set up your direction on how you're going to get somewhere. Like I feel like life is a game of runs, and as an athlete, I would say something like that and mean it wholeheartedly. But like life is a game of runs. When you gain momentum, when you get into a place where you're running it through and everything is falling in your court, and you in the right environment, you making the right connections, you're networking, you're meeting goals, take off, like pump into that time, lean into that momentum, keep going.
Yeah, sounds like keep going.
Keep building. And once it slows down, learn in that time. Like it's not I'm throwing away this goal. We don't throw away the goal. We stick with the goal. What we do.
Don't pause.
Don't pause. We stop and we learn. We try and figure some things out. What else can be done? Yeah. So when you do slow down out of your momentum and run, just build something else. Think of what else can you build or create, and get set for another goal to meet. The Marines said the best too. Like no plan really goes unchanged after the encounter of the enemy. So whatever barriers you run into, it's okay to change the plan. It's okay to go back to the drawing board. There are times where we just got to change how we gonna do something. Yeah. Like COVID has changed a lot of what we thought was gonna be our planning and our business. Lost business behind COVID. As a person who needs product, COVID just will wipe out somebody because they're not making enough sales and they got to close their door, and their doors being closes our doors. Exactly. So I don't want to stop. I still have a goal. I still got to do certain things. But in this period where I had to slow down and think about it, let me build another relationship. Let me build another partnership, and figure out how to get back into a new momentum, a new groove. Yes. The one thing too, and it really is like kind of where we can park our understanding of goals, is like goals need to start to define your mindset. Right? You can't complain about eating. You can't. If the goal was to eat, the goal, you can't complain about having a lot on your plate. You gotta change that mindset. You do. What do you see on the plate that can get eaten right away? Like that can get done right away, that can be knocked off right away. One thing I found is that crossing things off my to-do list, that feels good. Oh, yes. Right? That feels good. The success in that. And if I can keep crossing things off the list, I look up and I've had a productive day. You seeing your progress right in front of you. Right in front of you. Right in front of you. And that's why that celebrating the wins, we always talk about, man, we got to get out and celebrate some wins. We got to get out and have some space where we create an environment that's, complementary to the one that we working really hard in. Like I want to work hard over here, but I want to hang out and think about the fact that, I'm accomplishing things. Let me praise that. Yeah, but work hard, play hard. All them steps where you get all that growth. That's why when the outcome comes, it's not even that I'm like, oh my God, this is the thing. I got to 1,000 followers. Not really. It was like, man, remember that video we created? Remember that content? Remember that person reached out to us and then connected us to this? Like, that's the part of the story that people tell. When you think about it, you know what the outcome is. You've seen it. And now when people are talking about it, the value is in that story. Like what they were able to accomplish, what goals they were able to cross off, and like really how it got written. The next play mentality is all about the process. It's about loving that space, learning that space, and by any means necessary. Hopefully it's a high road and a blessing to others, but get to it. Like goals are gonna dictate. Having a winning mindset dictates how you behave, and it changes that belief we were talking about when you connect goals to it. So I'm just hopeful that as you are setting goals, as you're making goals, as you're accomplishing them, they're giving you space to feel great about it, to feel like you can keep eating off of them, to feel like you can keep building goals, making goals, and really accomplishing goals. So if you're thinking about what's the big deal, that's the big deal. Goals are defining and structuring our life and how we get to it. And we should make goals to get to the next level, to ultimately become clear versions of ourselves.
Totally agree. That was good.
That was good.
Yeah. That's some really good information.
What you think about goals? What would we leave them with goals?
They are very, very important. They help you advance. Well, I would say level up to whatever level that is that you're trying to get to. So those are very important. Um, keep in mind when you're setting these goals, don't overwhelm or set too much on your plate that you're not able to handle and accomplish.
Right.
Because you will definitely fall into that pit hole where you may get exhausted with it, and it may cause you to be so overwhelmed where you want to just throw in a towel on things, and that you don't want to do. There are gonna be some struggles with the goals. You may fall into pitfalls or whatnot. Keep pushing. Keep going. Keep going. Again, don't let it discourage you. Keep making plays. And that mindset that we keep speaking on is something real. It's real. It's real. If you don't have the mindset for what you're wanting to do or where you're trying to get, you won't get there. You can set 1,000 goals. If that mind ain't there, it's a waste of your time, honestly. So make sure your mind is intact, your heart is into what you're trying to do.
And continue to make plays through that lens.
Next play
mentality.
Yes.
I don't know if this message is for you. I don't know if goals are for you, but they are for somebody. Find somebody to share the message with. What's serious about goals? What's necessary about goals? Why are they such a big deal? How do they get us to our next level? How do they define our next play? Once again, I am Dr. Classic. This is Quinn with Quinn's Collective. Until next time, keep a next play mentality and continue to make plays. Subscribe, like, share. That's it.